How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall. In today's video, I'm going to be finally bringing you guys that video where I'm going to be talking about former Aggies and what they're doing now, whether they're still playing collegiate basketball, playing overseas somewhere, playing the NBA, playing pro, whatever it may be. And getting into all that. Not going to touch on every single player, obviously, because there's multiple players I can talk about in this video. I'm going to focus on a certain amount, and the guys I'm going to focus on are guys that I've talked about on the channel multiple times or made a lot of posts about recently. So let's get straight into it. First things first, we're going to talk about Jalen Jackson-Posey, who was a point guard for the Aggies, not this past season, but the season before, the first year under Coach Hooten, the first year under our rebuild. Really helped catalyze it in a way as our point guard, starting point guard for most of the year, started in most games. Averaged about 7 points for us. This past year, he played at Texas Southern. You could say it was a little bit more of a down year for him, but he did pick it up toward the end of the year, averaged about 5 points a game. Only shot about 33% of the field, 27% from three. So shooting numbers weren't great, but if you look at what they were at the beginning of the season, they were worse than that. So he definitely improved, throughout the year. Kind of reminds me of Femi Odikali, who was our next guy we're talking about. Minnesota started off the year wrong, just was only averaging like 2 points a game, but started in most games. I think there were only 2 games he didn't start in. Finished the year averaging just under 7 points a game, and rebounded and, assisted at a high rate, blocked over a shot a game, played great defense, averaged over a steal a game too. One of his better defensive seasons. And Jalen Jackson-Posey got it done at the defensive end as well. So even though both these guys didn't see quite the, shooting or offensive success as they did at NMSU or even other schools they may have been at, their defense was a lot better. And obviously Femi playing at Minnesota in a big conference like that, the Big Ten, not going to be just great right out of the bat. Jalen Jackson-Posey playing at HBCU, playing against a lot of, with a lot of great players and stuff. He just wasn't as great as what he was at NMSU, but still not a bad player at all. I'm not sure if he has dreams or aspirations or goals to play overseas, but I definitely think him or Femi can do that for sure. Like I said multiple times, a lot of times if you can play Division I basketball, you can play overseas somewhere usually. So hopefully those guys can make that leap soon. Another guy who played with those guys was Yak Yak. He played at the Division II level this past year at Colorado Mesa University. Not sure if he's planning on staying there or going to another school. I know he had some offers from other D1 schools. I can't remember them at the top of my head after he decided to enter the portal after playing 1 year at NMSU. But choosing to go the D2 route definitely worked out for him. He played a lot better, played a lot more minutes. Started at the end of the year. He came off the bench for most of the year at Colorado Mesa, but this past his last 8 games he started in, finished the year averaging just around 10.5 to 11 points a game, averaged about 6 rebounds, blocked about a shot and a half a game. So did really great things on the defensive end as well. It's with all these guys playing great defense. That's what you love to see. And obviously the Aggies this year, great defensive team, and Coach Hooten's a defensive oriented coach, so no surprise all there. Now we're talking about Tanash Petway, another guy who played with those guys. Joined the team halfway throughout the year, during that 2023 to 24 year, and honestly had the most surprising season out of any of those guys in my opinion. Averaged 17 points a game at peer review A&M. Now they're a small D1 school, they're a low major conference, but he entered the portal recently and has offers from a lot of big schools like Washington, Vanderbilt, Washington State, I believe, LSU. The list goes on. He's got offers from other mid-major schools and some other low majors. I'm assuming he'll play at the high major level. I think that'd be awesome to see him do that, and try to target out a good career there. And then who knows what he has plans for after. I know he's played 4 years, but I believe he has another year because of eligibility. I think there was a year he didn't play in there, redshirted might have been. So he has at least 1 more year, maybe more, but I'm pretty sure it's only 1. He might have played JUCO, I can't remember exactly. I did 1, that's 2, so 1. But he had a really good year. Peer review A&M and Celis weren't that great. I think they only had 4 or 5 wins on the year. But regardless, he balled out, played well. Hopefully it's not a situation where he only did that well because he wasn't on that great of a team. Hopefully he can expand and play well on another team. When he played for us, he averaged about 5 points a game. He had many great scoring outbursts where he scored just under 20. I believe his last game as an Aggie against Western Kentucky in that Conference USA tournament game, he had 16. He had 19 against Western Kentucky in that comeback also. So he always just he played very well against Western Kentucky. I believe he had 19 in the regular season game. I could be wrong. He had a few other games in there where he had 16 and 19 points. That was his range when he went off. He also had a lot of donuts where he didn't score. In his first game as an Aggie, he only played 8 minutes and scored 6 points. He had his moments that he was good. He had his moments where he wasn't. But this past year, he was really good. Had 24 points, I think, in his first game at peer review A&M, and then followed it up with a 0-point game. But then ever since that, just dominated all the way through. Definitely looking forward to his future. And he's still a supporter of the social media accounts. Every time I post about him, he's always thankful for it, always repost it. So shout out to him for that. Next player we're going to be talking about is Casey Iziagu. This guy is dominating overseas right now, playing in Poland for Team Opole. I'm not sure what the official team name is, but when I looked it up, that's what it showed. But there might be some other abbreviations for it. Not sure. So overseas teams sometimes can be hard to pronounce. But he's averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, and a block shot a game, which is awesome. He played for Rapala KK. I posted about that at the beginning of the school year. He just didn't get a whole lot of minutes there, and that season was over, and he decided to play somewhere else where he was utilized more. And he's playing some of his best brand of basketball he's ever played, playing better than he even did in college. His last year with us, he averaged about, 8 and 6, or 9 and 6, I think. So he's playing even better than he was with us. Again, Casey's always a guy I talk about that I wish that we had on this past year's team. I actually had a dream one time that he was on our team. Like, literally, I'm not even joking. I went to bed, had a dream that he was on our team, and I woke up and wish it was true because, again, our posts weren't bad this year. The Schwanger brothers were great. They played really, really well at the end of the year, going on that 5-1 stretch in their first 6 games together. But they just weren't as dominant as Casey was, especially scoring the ball, rebounding at a high level. Again, those guys definitely proved toward the end of the year, and I really, appreciate them for that. And shout out to Emmanuel's shoes. Those Aggie shoes are awesome. They just weren't as great as Casey. All those guys are leaving. All our posts are going to be leaving. So we have some posts coming in. Hopefully they can do some great things. And if they can be, anywhere as good as Casey or even better, then we're going to have a great year next year for sure. Jordan Rawls is another guy who really impressed me playing overseas, averaging about 22 points a game, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, about a steal a game for Qatar Club overseas. Again, some of these overseas leagues, I'm not sure how great they are. There's so many professional leagues. It's like there's so many. It's kind of like community colleges. There's so many of them, and there's so many leagues that are not as good as Division One. There's some that are better than Division One. So I'm not sure how great this one is, but regardless, he's playing pro basketball and averaging over 20 a game. That is insane. So shout out to him, doing a lot of great things. Talked to the guy a few times when he was here, and again, he's still a supporter of the channel, still follows it. I think he even liked the post when we beat UNM, so shout out to him for that. And same with Tanaj, he did the same thing. So these guys, even though they're not with the Aggies anymore, they're still supporting the program, and that's what you love to see. Serge Jabari-Rice is the guy we talked about multiple times on this channel. Made a post about him recently on my social media accounts and here on the community post on YouTube. He's averaging just under 14 points a game, about 3 assists and 2 rebounds. Just under a steal as well. He's doing really great things defensively as well. Again, all these Aggies are doing great things defensively because Chris Jans was also a really big defensive coach as well, just like Huden. Both great coaches. Huden actually beat Jans, but I think Jans is probably a little bit better of a coach. They're both great though, and hopefully Huden. Huden even said in his press conference, he was saying something about Lou Henson and Chris Jans. He's like, if he could even be half the coaches those guys are, then that'd be an accomplishment. And he's definitely well over half. Like, he's not even far off. You know what I mean? And he could definitely, his job right now, he is meant for this program, and it's definitely a hard job that he's doing right now, taking over a rebuilding program. But my point being, again, Serge Jabari-Rice, whatever you want to call him, doing a lot of great things. Met him at the Aggie football game we played against UMass last year. We lost that game, should have won it. It's funny, when he comes back, we lose, apparently. But he also went to the soccer game that week and we lost, but then the games he doesn't go to, we win. But again, he was also a guy that showed great support when we beat UNM, and he showed us great support to Texas, the other school he was at. He averaged 13 points a game there after he left NMSU, one of his better years in college. In his last year with the Aggies, averaged about 12 points a game. A pretty good scorer, has that pump fake that's hard to guard. I love watching him March Madness for the few years he played in it. Like, he played with the Aggies in 2019, and then in 2022 with the Aggies, and then 2023 with Texas. And he's arguably their best player. I was talking to one of my homeboys, Wells, from high school, played basketball with him, and he went to Texas whenever Serge Jabari-Rice was there, and he was talking about how he was arguably their best player, especially coming off the bench. He was really good. He's doing really great things again for the South Bay Lakers, playing with Bronny. That's pretty cool. So shout out to him for all that, and hopefully he gets his NBA call up soon. As you guys know, he did play in an NBA preseason game for the Spurs last season, but hasn't seen any actual NBA action. Kind of reminds me of LiAngelo Ball, where he played for the Hornets in the G League, but didn't actually get any NBA action. So, and I'm a big JLo fan. That Tweaker song's pretty good. So hopefully both those guys can make it. But obviously Rice, because that's former Aggie legend. So hopefully he can get it done. Teddy Allen is a name that everyone loves. The last player to help the Aggies win an NCAA tournament game, and the first time they did that in 29 years when they beat UConn. They were the last team to beat UConn in the tournament until recent, when I was at UConn, lost in the tournament and stuff. But Teddy's averaging about 14 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal a game right now in the G League for the Vipers, the affiliate for the Rockets. So hopefully he can get his call up for the Rockets or any team. He's also only averaging an assist per game, which makes sense. You guys know Teddy's a pure bucket getter, averaged just under 20 a game for us. If he had a few more games where he scored a little bit more, definitely could have had that. But just doing a lot of great things nonetheless. Now we're going to be talking about some NBA players, Trevin Quinn and Pascal Siakam. As you guys know, Trevin started off the year pretty strong, had some games where he was starting, had 17 points against the Celtics in a win. And the Magic haven't been playing their greatest basketball as of recent. I know they've won a few games here and there, but they're not where they'd want to be. They're definitely better than what their record shows. But Trevin hasn't been playing that much, and when he was playing a lot, they were winning. So I feel like they should definitely go back to that. He's averaging about 4 points a game, played in 29 games. And that's the most he's played in his career. Again, the G League, he's just too good for the G League. He's averaging like over 20 every year. So he's one of those guys that deserves to be in the NBA full time. Kind of reminds me of Mac McClung, who's like really good for the G League, but the NBA doesn't get a whole lot of PT. Or Isaiah Thomas, really good for the G League, but just he's older, hasn't got a whole lot of time in the NBA. But hopefully Trevin Quinn can get his opportunity to showcase more of his skills in the NBA. Last but not least, got to talk about Pascal Siakam. It was his birthday recently, just turned, was it 30, 31? I think it was 31. And, he's mentioned all these platforms, how he played for the Aggies and stuff, which was awesome. Getting some more recognition there. This year he's averaging 20 points a game, about 7 rebounds, steal, I think like 3 assists. Playing at an all-star level, was an all-star this year. I believe he's a 3 or 4 time all-star overall. Has surpassed, many career accolades, has a championship ring, and hopefully we can get another one soon. That's going to close out for the video today. Just a brief overview on all those guys. Just want to give really, small segments about those guys because I mentioned them a lot in previous videos, but I thought putting it all together in one would be awesome to do. So really appreciate you guys for watching this video. Let me know if there's any other Aggies you guys want me to talk about because I definitely can make videos on them. I can talk about guys like Terrell Brown who missed those crucial free throws against Auburn, but still a great player for us. Led the team in scoring that year, averaging about 11 a game. I think I talked about him in one of my previous videos. But I can make a whole video dedicated to him and how great of a player he was for the Aggies and where he's at now. Because honestly, I don't even know where he's at. So I could make a video on that. Just let me know who you guys want me to make a video on, and I'll get to it. And until then, I'll see y'all then. I'm out.